Now that is gorgeous. Quickly now, what is the difference between neutrality and objectivity? Just a heads up, if you're watching this the weekend it's published, there are rugby spoilers ahead. Okay, so last week I posted on Facebook a little post that raised a little bit of a kerfuffle, both on Facebook and IRL. My words were, I am not spiritually equipped to watch the All Blacks play. Now, I'm part of an international rugby community, like I have rugby friends from all over the world, and I'm the local high school rugby coach. There are a lot of local people who are rugby fans who know me, or even may not be big rugby fans, but have started to follow rugby because of me and their kids. So when I said, I am not spiritually prepared to watch the best team in the world play, people reacted, people trash talked, and people wanted to know why. The way I explained it to a friend, now remember, we're talking about neutrality versus objectivity, okay? I haven't forgotten that. The way I explained it to a friend is that watching the All Blacks play is like watching the bad boy Detroit Pistons, the late 80s, early 90s Detroit Pistons, as if they had the skill and dominance of the mid-90s Bulls. And as it happened, this friend was a Detroit fan from his youth. Now, those Detroit teams, they were good. But what were they known for? They were known for pushing the boundaries. What I explained to my friend was the All Blacks play. They hit every ruck. They deal with the offside line. They handle, they chase kicks with the same attitude of a basketball team that makes so much contact that most refs end up swallowing their whistle. It's not that everything they do is a foul or everything they do is illegal, but they're not even thinking about staying legal. And I know that's a bit of an exaggeration, but they're just pushing, and refs end up swallowing their whistle often. And, obviously there's some other stuff going on there, like spirit of the game and all that. Some accuse me of being a hater. Without question, that's playing into it as well. I mean, I cheer with such eagerness and longing for anyone who's playing the All Blacks to beat them. When Argentina beat New Zealand last year, the background on my phone is still a picture from that day. Okay, so this week, the New Zealand All Blacks ran into a buzzsaw. And that buzzsaw was not Ireland. That buzzsaw was the best referee in the world, one of the best, Jaco Paipa, who at one point told them, you guys need to have a talk. I am not going to back down. They had a red card. They had a yellow card. And it was the same thing, but this time Ireland played them in such a way that it started sort of revealing what was happening. Tackles off the ball, all the stuff they always do. But because Ireland was just that much better this weekend, it sort of exposed it. Now, what does this have to do with neutrality versus objectivity? You can buy my narrative about the All Blacks or not. You probably don't even care about rugby at all, so you're just enjoying watching me being passionate about something you consider silly. Neutrality versus objectivity. And I was put in mind of this actually when I was talking to my friend about the Detroit Pistons. Christians have this idea, people have this idea, right? But Christians have this idea that neutrality is a thing to be desired in many contexts. And I would say that neutrality is always wicked. Objectivity is not. And what's the difference? Neutrality is staying in the middle or staying out of it, not choosing a side. Objectivity, you are outside the situation and you are evaluating it, you are judging it. So to be objective, you have to be outside of it. Ultimately, nothing in creation can be objective, right? None of us can be ultimately objective who are in creation. But the attempt is there to be objective. If we are objective, we can judge. Now, if a referee thinks that his job is to be neutral, that means that the two teams he's refereeing between will set the tone. They will decide what neutral means for the referee. And no one, of course, wants a referee who's also playing the game. But a referee is a judge. He wants to be objective. The referee is the rule book incarnate, let's say. And rugby is a great example of this because rugby is refereed in a very fluid, loose, flexible way, right? Often infractions are not infractions. Infractions are the referee warning a player to stop doing something, right? So I'm all about that organic sort of refereeing. But you have to have a solid idea of what you're judging. And if you are judging, you are not neutral. Now, in most situations, you'll be right there in the middle. There will be nothing remarkable about you. But when one of the teams pushes or does something over and over, comes running off the bench and starts a fight, whatever it is, then that's where it becomes obvious. You were never being neutral, you were being objective. And referees who lose control of games, I say this as a coach of more than one sport, lose it because they were trying to be neutral and, dare I even say it, nice. What does this mean for us? Well, our civilization, our society, and our state has tried to sell us a certain bill of goods, right? Secularism, pluralism. This idea that the state is neutral. And as I said, neutrality is evil. You take the side of good every single time. And if two parties are good and acting out of a good will, that can make for some very difficult judging. If two parties are bad and both acting out of bad will, that can lead to difficulty in judging. But it's always moral. It is always objective. Now, biblically, the state is supposed to be a rescuer, a redeemer, a defender, a vindicator, an avenger. That's what the judgments of the state are supposed to be. A neutral state cannot do that. A state that has an objective standard of goodness from which it can be objective is the only desirable and good state. Teach your kids that neutrality, that opting out, not making a decision, not having an opinion is evil. Now, that doesn't mean you get involved in every imbroglio. It doesn't mean you have an opinion about something when you're totally ignorant of it. But it does mean that there is nothing neutral in this world, and the whole idea of neutrality is a lie. I've talked about this tangentially before, when in the context of family, when I've mentioned that you should know why, as a parent, you do everything with your kids, right? From why do we always eat pancakes on Tuesdays, to why am I being disciplined for this particular thing, to why do we let our girls wear makeup at age 14 instead of 12 or 16. Always know why, and always be able to tell your kids why if that's appropriate. There should be a why for everything in your life. Why am I making this video? Why am I drinking my coffee black? Why am I reading this book? Why am I spending my time this way? Why am I talking to you? I should have good answers for all of that. And I should have objectively good answers for all of that. Imagine all of that coming just from my frustrations with a certain concept of refereeing. Down with neutrality, y'all. The peace of Christ be upon you.